Hello, and welcome to my Let's Play of Anno 117 Pax Romana. As you join me in this gameplay, want to remind you that I am striving to deliver a relaxing and laid-back Let's Play experience here, so thank you so much for joining me. And before we dive into the objectives for growing our main island of Port Serenus today, I'll give you a quick recap on what we've done recently. So as you can see, the glorious amphitheater is complete. We are nearly done with our first local gladiator games, hoping to do a grand gladiator game. So we're importing chariots for the time being, and probably need to start producing additional goods, specifically weapons and armor, most likely. But additionally, we completed the final production chains for the Patricians. So these are the tough ones, the standing liars, as well as the loungers. Now, as far as objectives for today goes, hoping to have a more fun, chill, beauty building session today of primarily moving our patrician neighborhood around the amphitheater. This is going to require a lot of potentially upgrading, downgrading, and moving patricians, as well as eques and plebeians, around the amphitheater. We'll probably do some expansion as well of the population, subsequent goods bolstering as needed. And then, while all that fun stuff is happening, we just settled this island, Opulens, and primary goal here is to establish Flax. Now, depending on space, workforce, we may do more like minerals or lavender. But I also want to remind you, as we press play, that my whole flub over here, if you can remember many episodes back, I had lavender here. And I built this cistern specifically to boost it with that, and then it failed without realizing that there is technology for this. And this is it. So the reason that we didn't have this is that we haven't yet done the Roman path in Albion. So this is something that we may do in the future, but I did just want to call that out, that I am aware, I am learning. And that brings me to something that I want to announce near the end of this Let's Play. So stay tuned to the end of this episode, and we will have an announcement that will make a big impact on what we do here. So, without further ado, let's start disrupting some things. So what I want to do is we'll move some of these blocks out of the way. And you know what, we can pause, I think, during this, just to decrease some of the harm. So, easy to snap these over. 2 coins, not too big of a deal. And as you can see, we also have our marble starting to stockpile up a little bit. So marble roads will be in the near future, especially in this new neighborhood. Let me see how we're doing in that research. All right, so we're all good on marble roads. So that's nice. Let's bring another block over here. Oh no, not 2 at a time. Alright, like so. Then let's put down our first marble road. Could probably do this entire street for now. And divide these blocks up just as they were. We don't have to do anything too drastic. That should be proper. And there. And we got plenty, so let's just go ahead and pave these streets all the way to the theater. And around the bathhouse would be nice. Alright. Back to our moving of patricians. being able to do this while paused is also a pretty nice perk, I must say. It certainly allows for less risk of making the population very unhappy while doing these kind of major adjustments. But also, I'm really not worried about the patricians too much right now because we're satisfying all of their needs and desires. I think I was looking at what the standing liars bring them. No, not the liars, but the loungers. Yeah, these +5 income, happiness, 1 population, 2 prestige. That's just a mega impactful chain. Now, how is this road surviving here? No dirt roads. There we go. All right. Now let's move these last 2 over for now. Like so. And then we have so many plebeians. Let's see if we could bring over 3 at a time. Let's see. Can we unsnap? No. Alright, let's do this. We'll just do 1 at a time for now. Fine with that. To me, this is relaxing. Not having to do any math, think about workforce needs, income, costs, just moving residents around, filling out these neighborhoods. And we're paused. I don't know if I've done any major developments in this Let's Play while paused yet, so definitely takes pressure off. And I am moving these residents, but we're also going to upgrade these plebeians. So we'll see after we're done moving things around how much that will impact the needs of the population. May need to add some more olive oil or maybe tabulus. Done a pretty good job at staying on top of those things, so possible that we're all good. The next major movement will be probably moving the patricians away from the villa here. I've been talking about this for a while, but I'm not sure if I like these red tile roofs being 1 story taller than the villa. I think the Eques look really nice around it, so we'll try to maintain that. Which, if we have to downgrade, we will. But I think there's plenty of space over here by the amphitheater to move those patricians and keep on building. All right. Should probably have residents here. Can we do a rotation? Here, maybe there's ornaments here. Nope. Well, let's recheck diagonal. There we go. Alright, that's nice. A few more homes. Oh, not the road. There we go. Boy. Oh my gosh, it will let us upgrade those, even with the major relocation. Alright, then, well, we have 1 more slot. Just don't want to forget about those things. Now, I'm okay having patricians here. We have the caviar, oysters and caviar production chain here with some nice decorations. I'm happy to make these marble roads and have this be an additional semi or complete patrician neighborhood. But over here, I think I just want Eques. So let's bring this block over to this side of the river. And this block here. And this one. Might be able to just expand the neighborhood as well, so this big block definitely needs to. Glad we have that free space as a bit of a staging area. And how about we just downgrade this? So hold Alt, take those patricians down. All right, that already looks a lot more synergistic, so we're happy about that. But oh my gosh, what is this road doing here? We might keep this paved and not marble, but that looks pretty marbly. Let's see. It does look nice. Well, once you go marble, maybe you don't go back. Do want each neighborhood to feel fairly distinct, but around the villa, I'm not opposed to having some marble. And we got plenty in reserve right now. Just to make this look a little more uniform. Probably makes sense. Probably start time as well, so we start to produce marble. Since now I'm going on a crazy spending spree. Definitely spent over 100 marble just on roads now. It's alright. Man, these are not even paved roads out here. I'm not sure what we'll do in that neighborhood. It could be a scenario where we... Oh man, we can't be unpausing. We got people unconnected to roads. Definitely can't do that. Alright. Now let's move some of these. Like so. Replace these blocks. We can do some more road construction once we have our residents settled. Like so. And then how are we doing on these? Okay, that looks okay. Definitely cool to add another shrine. Nice coverage there. Any up this direction? Maybe not necessary right now. Alright. That looks pretty good. Make these upgraded. Have to play time maybe to see those come up to speed. And slot in these patricians right next to the amphitheater. I'd love to have the amphitheater continue right now, but have to do some remodeling. Sooner we're able to continue the amphitheater progress, as pretty as it is, sooner we'll be able to figure out what we need for a grand gladiator games. Alright, now we need to move over a few more these plebeians. That's easy. Can I relocate? As soon as I say easy, get the first inability to relocate a residence. Let's investigate that. So why can't you move? You can move. All right. Well, that's fine. And then we have a couple here and a couple there. Do that. Looking for 4. You can too relocate. Don't believe them anymore. We can also bring these Eques over here. Don't have to upgrade them. Alright, then let's slot in the Patricians to take their place. As you get a little bit more comfortable with Anno, and specifically 117, understanding the different production chains and the, I guess, flow of resident upgrades, you may not need to do things like this, but I am okay to kind of accept the fact that you should be moving things around a little bit, just so that you're not spacing things out in a unnatural way in the early to middle game. Like, you should have to move around your timber production or your charcoal production, as well as kind of make your neighborhoods more unique, have more personality over time. Alright, what do we want to do next? Looks like we've moved all the patricians out of this neighborhood in between these aqueducts. This all looks really nice. We'll upgrade some of these plebeians. Possible, yes. And then, let's see about this. Let's move these patricians over. What could we do here? Delete these roads. Thinking about this. Maybe we can have a even block over here. Oh wow, we just took out a big road. We snatch this guy from there. Alright, if we have this wrap around. Yeah, we definitely took out a road here. So we could probably... want to upgrade these plebeians, like so. Yeah, that's a lot of Eques concentrated. Great coverage from these buildings. Love it. I guess we're kind of at a stage of doing more upgrades. We could move this block and this block of patricians over across the pond. Let's do it. Let's see. There we go. Looks a little bit more uniform. Alright, I think that'll be good, and they should be happy there in terms of, yeah, public service buildings. They love it, everything's good. And let's bring, this block should probably go. We want to see some progress as well, so don't worry. We won't just be moving around residents all day. Want to get that flax production up. So, we certainly will. Alright, so this block is going to move over. Place the plebeians. so. Just doing a easy trade. These tall buildings. Again, doing this kind of stuff really starts to bring character to a city. Being able to have distinct neighborhoods makes sense. What about these? Or what would that may look like with the dividing road? Alright, then these three probably be the last ones we move out. Bring this back in. Replace it. There we go. Then we have this spare building. Can't forget about any pleb. No pleb left behind. And go ahead, build in a few more. Told you we were gonna have growth. Alright, that looks nice. Nice to bring over some patricians. Now let's play time. And this ship will be a trading ship. Should be. Or those a warship? Let's see. Probably added some warships. Let's add a trading ship as well, since we're definitely going to need one for this new trading route over here. Alright, and before we do that, let's load up some construction materials on the flagship. But first, what will we need? So for flax, I don't assume we'll need much. Oh my gosh. We need both tiles and concrete. I was assuming that would be timber. Farmhouse, easy. No, not the case. Alright, well let's do that. Send her over. While that happens, let's just take a quick look at my favorite screen to ensure nothing radical has happened. Okay, that's a little concerning. That looks fine. All these basic tier 1 goods look fine. Soap, don't give me a hard time, soap. Bring yourself up to speed, please. Alright, all of these look good. Olive oil is tight. Let's see on Isla Olivia where that olive production is. Alright, so we're a little bit overproducing. That's good. Soap. What's going on over here? So lavender-wise, you should be okay. And lard, you should be okay. How about pigs? Pigs should be okay. So, if we go here, we can see individual buildings. These are all at 100%. How about lavender? All at 150%. So what's the problem? How about soap? Alright, so just this soap maker is at 0%. Oh, it's not connected to a road. Well, Henry, there you go. Problem solved. Ruins? Oh, taking me to Albion. I don't want to go to Albion. Not right now. Thankfully, we have massive beer production coming in from Albion, which is greatly boosting our happiness by plus 1,048. So worth it. Alright, now, construction materials are coming to Opulens. And how do we want to do things over here? I think some good farming land there. I think having a little town in this direction could make some sense. But let's work around, yeah, that radius for this woodcutter. And offload all this. And thanks to our devotion to Ceres, we have 300 tons on this island. Just settled it. No additional depots or warehouse upgrades needed. We can store a lot. Makes it a lot easier to jumpstart production. But let's go ahead. We have some spare Libertas. Before we even set up our first, I guess, residential center for the island, let's start with this. Just because we have some spare workforce, so start getting a supply so that when our ship is ready, we already have some goods to trade back to Serenus. All right. And how much will we need is the real question. So Serenus, we are making a lot of togas, 3 tons per minute. And in terms of flax, I need 4. So I'm assuming these are every 2 minutes. Producing 1. No. Okay, so 1:30. So we're going to need, well, with the increased field sizes, don't know exactly. We'll place some down. Definitely going to need more than 4. In previous Anno games, one of the big reasons that I never really got into specialists or trading for items is because it just throws off the ratios for me. I like the numbers to be consistently correct. Alright, so that's 3. Well, if we add 2 more, let's see what that does. Right. So that should be a second warship to protect our fleet. Alright, that's going to be pretty good. Probably going to want to blueprint 2 more of these. Because increasing our togas probably going to happen in the near future. And we'll need some additional flax. Plus, it's a long journey to get to this island. Alright, that looks really great. This will probably require an upgrade or an additional. But, wow, didn't even really need to add a residential center. But if we want to bring over primarily the mineral deposits, do we have river slots? We have 4. Perfect for gold. All right, well, that's really good. I think we're almost tapped out on Apollonia, which is bringing in 8. I think, yeah, 8 gold. So we have a couple gold maybe on our main island, and then plenty on Apollonia. So this will be a good island for us. Let's go ahead, start this city center. Like so. And then we'll need sardine production. And another one. Blueprinted for now. Getting ahead of the game. Porridge. Let's see, we'll add a warehouse into the city. Or on the outskirts, perhaps. Looks kind of nice up against the mountains. Let's do that. then what we can do, like so. Right. And that does put our workforce into the negative, but we got plenty coming, so not too concerned. All right. Those are some nice sized blocks. Good radii there. And then always good to keep some fire safety and happiness. May not need to construct those because really your city status needs to increase in order for it to really be demanded. That's what I've felt. But we can definitely do the market, and we'll do some additional homes since we have the timber. And then we'll do a spinner. How about this? Do a spinner there and a Filius. Right across the street. Like so. Add in a road there. And hemp, let's see if we can make this so that it can not go to a warehouse first. Maybe we'll get lucky with that. It'd be nice if it just went directly, which I think it should. And then this can go right here. Take that little node out. Alright, I think that looks nice. Let's do that. We'll get the filter going soon enough. Bring in the wood. This can probably be connected there. As soon as we have the 2 timber, go ahead and pull the trigger there. Alright, and then, perfect timing. Now this ship will be a trade ship. We'll give it an escort. And start bringing flax. There we go. Oh, we got lots. All right. Established. And it's got an escort. Very good. What are all these ships doing around? Tarragon's kind of lurking here. A growing monstropolis. Alright, that means probably everything's going quite well. Definitely like how this neighborhood's starting to look. May move these marketplaces a bit further away now that we've upgraded this neighborhood. If we do that, give us more room for homes, but also kind of spruce up the neighborhood for the patricians. I'm hesitant to do it right this second, but let's go ahead and do it. Just not quite sure what I'll want as we move in this direction. Alright, we'll do another market over here. And a tavern. Let's see. It's fine for now, and we need to fill in this block. Let's do that. how about we do this? We'll bring just these over. Don't really have the final characteristics yet of what we want that side to look like. But we could definitely do this and wrap the amphitheater in marble roads, of course. Wow. Just looks so good. Having the progress. Alright, let's do this. We'll fill in the gaps here. Said I was okay keeping that focused on patricians. What shall we do? Since the markets weren't a perfect fit, maybe we'll add some decor here. Here's what I'm thinking. If we bring this over to that side, we can then remove this road, do something in the center even. Alright, so ornament wise, well first let's marble it up. Like so. Probably a tad wasteful. Doing the double upgrade. Alright, these guys definitely gotta get out of here. You can upgrade. Alright, then, ornament-wise, let's see what we can do. May make sense to do a little bit of a walkway here. But because we're on a diagonal, it doesn't really fit incredibly well. But statues will work great. Love the lion statue. Let's do that. Ooh. I like that. It could be rotated like that. So it's always facing the center. That's an awesome... I hadn't noticed that in the past. That's great. Alright, let's do some flagstone here. Just because, as you can see, this blends really well with the base of the Patrician building. Like if we do this, it doesn't blend as well. But that blends very nicely. And then I'm a sucker for a fountain. Yes, that will probably look great. And why not build two? Maybe. Let's see. Maybe we could do something in the center. No, that won't work. Let's see. Can we do some trees then? Looks good. There we go. Nice little park. Don't have to be too extra about it. That looks good. Alright, things are definitely upgrading over here. But now we got some gaps, so we'll fill this in. To make these upgrades. And flax supply. We got a lot now. Holy. Oh, because we were trading with Tarragon. Let's see, now that we have this all set up, let's delete this. Sorry, Tarragon. We'll find another good reason to trade with the old man. Festival can be hosted. Isla Olivia. Perfect. They love it. Increased belief is increased income. And we have a specialist. Let's take a look at that. What sort of specialist do we got over here? The diviner of dough. Bread chain in range. Increased productivity by 10%. Not very exciting. Womp womp. Alright. This island is very pretty. I like having the city up the elevation. Then you have the olive groves. Alright. Let's see what to do next. Pretty happy with all the patricians that we moved over. Let's see about weapons. Don't know if we have these. And now this is a peaceful playthrough, which I keep reminding. But we do need weapons to put on the gladiator games. I don't think we have any of these. On island it says we have one. Is it up here? Maybe it's over in this direction. Let's just double check. Make sure we have our status icons on. We should have... Alright, there's our weapons. Alright, so weapons are happening. And we have 345. Great. How about armor? Let's research some armor. That should be quick. And maybe we can queue up some additional research that's needed. That's a good idea. If we need some defense. There we go. That was fast. Final level of ships. And increased offshore building range will really help, especially as we have to increase the fisheries and salt production. Alright, there we go. No problem. Alright, that's some good queued up production. Alright, that all looks good. Now that we have armor upgraded, let's see if we can just plop one of these down. Away from the city. Is there fire safety out here? Let's add one. Alright, that looks good. Shouldn't have... Oh, it does. Wow, I didn't think this would reduce it so drastically. Let's adjust our roads a little bit. Wow, come on. Guess we gotta be on this side. Alright, that gives you 90, that's good. You got plenty over here. You got a good amount. You're good. Alright. So iron, we should be under. Alright, tannery of leather. Alright, actually we had the spare iron. Didn't realize we were underutilizing this. 1 minute, 130, there you go. Alright, makes sense. So we had 2 of these, taking advantage of our iron mine, but we had a lot of spare iron bars for the armory. That's great. So we'll kind of want to let that ride. Probably want to have at least 100 in supply before the next games. Let's go ahead and even set a build order or a buy order for this, just to help us reach that. We'll have plenty of weapons. How about the chariots? Alright, so that's at 225. Excellent. Wow, well, we really need 200 actually. Now I'm remembering that's what it was. How much longer do we have here? 17 minutes. Alright. Yeah, we may need another armorer. Plenty of concrete. That's good. Would anybody like to trade concrete with us? Just so we're keeping it moving, offering concrete. No. I doubt people will want our construction materials. It's not a very, well, last ditch effort. Let's see if Lysiama would like to trade concrete. Where is your harbor? What in the world? There we go. Oh, tucked over here. We don't have trade rights. Well, let's see. What's it gonna take? Well, let's ask. There we go. We're traders now. Well, she doesn't really like trade. Look at this. Tier 1, a little bit of Tier 2. Not interested. We'll defend you, though. Everybody's peaceful in this peaceful Let's Play. Alright. Let's see. Think as a final task. Let's increase this neighborhood out this direction. So what we'll do here, add these in for upgrades. Build this all the way to the river. Like so. And then this should likely move. Let's see if we can get that done easily. This certainly makes sense. Being by the goldsmith, as well as the glassblower, and the jeweler. Definitely needing of 2 charcoal furnaces. Over here, how are we doing on fine glass? Doing okay. We're doing okay. Concrete. Could definitely stay over here. Tessera works, maybe not so much. Alright, but let's kind of build all the way to this, and then we'll have some fun space to mess around with there. Maybe an additional library, maybe a temple even. Yeah, it's possible. Maybe a sanctuary. Or we have a sanctuary there. Unlikely that a sanctuary would get placed over in that direction, but we'll find out something cool to do. More residents. What makes the most sense here? Around the market. Don't think we'll be able to squeeze a road in the middle there. Alright, that's nice. Maybe throw a little bit of ornamentation here. Couple of trees. Looks nice. And then make this a block. The beauty and the pains of building diagonal. You want to do it, but it requires some extra effort, that's for sure. Right, let's see. Cut this through. Alright, I think that is good to have a little bit of a buffer here. We can maintain this as a production space, I think. We'll at least leave the concrete here. We may move these, but we can at least pave this with hard earth and put a wall around it, is what I'm thinking. And then this neighborhood will feel a little bit more complete and divided from the residential. Alright. Do that. And then let's upgrade these roads to be paved. Like so. Upgrade the bridge, of course. Love doing that. We got the concrete. Don't worry. Let's do all of this. Increases efficiency as well. Alright. And then, can we do a nice little wall around? Let's see. Like so. That looks too weird. Take this there. Add a little bit more hard earth. All right. You know what? We could probably bring this all the way to the residential. I am sorry to cut down these trees, but allows us to have a more clean slate. All right. Well, progress is progress. Let's call it there. Established our own flax production, moved a lot of residents all over, created the Eques neighborhood around the villa, which I love, and then continued to beautify around the aqueduct for our Patrician neighborhood. Next time we'll do a little bit more production as we increase our population a little bit more, especially that olive oil. First things first. Take care.